Hi, she's Trixie, and I'm Sarah, and this is our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn crafts and all that gives us and what we hope it gives you. We're on episode 146 today, and I'm just verifying. For anybody who is kind of been with us for a while, you will recognize some of these projects that are now making a full come around. One is a labor of love that is finally complete, and one is a project that has come back from the dead of UFOs.
A couple of years, maybe.
I am excited for this episode because I really think that it can really show you that endurance, or just maybe not giving up on a project fully, but recognizing that it just needs to be put down, and it will present itself as having a spot the moment that you let it speak to you.
Yeah.
Because it's perfect, and it's just such an interesting thing of how it just came back.
Yeah.
It just came back.
And you just had that little bit to go, and now it's going to be done.
Yeah, so without any further ado, we hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and maybe it'll help inspire you to not be so hard on yourself if you are dealing with a project that might take a little bit longer than you thought, or maybe it's just a labor of love that you didn't know what to do with. So
yeah, for sure. So I got the blanket done, and I'm going to show you. Now I'm calling this the random blanket. It's Lassie Manita yarn. Lassie Manita yarn from Italy. I had 24 skeins. I did a double crochet with a 5mm hook. I started with black and went to dark gray, and I just started getting really bored, so I wanted to change colors. So I've got all these color changes in here, and I, for the most part, had made just stripes all the way across. Now this is 200 stitches across because it's fitting a queen size bed. So I did that. I had folded this beforehand, and now I'm trying to be able to show you all. So I've got all of this, and showing you. And then I got up here, and I decided that I wanted to, I'm trying to see if I got the right area here. Oh, okay. I was in the wrong one. I decided that up here, I was just going to use up the rest of the material. Yes. I wanted all of the yarn gone.
I love that.
And so I started just using it up. And I wanted to end on one that was going to have enough color to keep going up to make a whole stripe. So what I ended up having to do with this last one was I did my double crochets until I didn't think I had enough to do anymore. So then I did a single crochet all the way across, and I still had some yarn left over. So then I did a slip stitch all the way across, and this little bit was all I had left of 24 skeins of this Lassie Manita yarn. And it is so pretty. Put it on my bed. It's a beautiful, almost like a nice sweater on your bed. And it comes out so nice. All the golds were they were going through at regular intervals. I had no idea. Because I was not going off a pattern. I was going off from, I'm bored, I want to do this a different color now. And I want to do a different color now. And I want to do a different color now. And that's all I was doing it with. But when I put it on the bed, it was nicely all laid out. And it looked really good. And so
it's fun when your just mood project ends up looking like you put more effort into it than you actually did.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying.
And to only end up with this much left. I played yarn chicken until I couldn't do it anymore. So I am so glad that that was something that I could do. And yeah, it's so fun. So I have started a new project, but I will show you that next week because Sarah's got something that she's going to show that's really exciting too.
Well, for backstory, because the OGs of this channel are going to remember this project that happened to disappear right in the middle of its construction. And I want to be very clear. I never completely forgot about this project. There's just... It is the Baby Yoda project that I was doing a couple of years back. It was supposed to be for my nephew, and my nephew was very interested in Baby Yodas at the time, and anything kind of Mandalorian theme, as it was very popular at the time. And I was waiting for his birthday to arrive. When his birthday came and went, I was waiting for whenever the party was going to happen, and that kept getting pushed off into the summer, and his birthday is normally in January.
Yeah.
Well, then by the time I end up meeting his, who we consider like his stepmom, or like his guardian, who is my sister-in-law, I was like, what's going on? And they end up admitting around like Thanksgiving that their schedule had got so busy that they just had misplaced it. And because my nephew is not a very huge fan of winter, they did not do a winter party for him.
Right.
They had planned on the summer, and then the summer got so cramped that they had misplaced it. So by the time the next birthday came around, something similar happened where I think they were gonna plan it in the summertime, and I don't even know what happened, but I know that if we're thinking that was this summer, he ended up breaking his arm, and there's so much that just happened that just kept occurring that just disrupted not only their lives but just everyone, and the situation just chaotic. And it's hard to celebrate in bad times.
Yeah.
So that project never got completed, and I really wanted it to be for him, but at this point I'm not quite sure if he'd be interested in this item. I'm not quite sure, and if he is, I still have the pattern. I could still whip him up one of these without shame. I would still do it. But it's one of those things where my sister-in-law, who is a huge Baby Yoda fan, birthday's today, and she's just like, I want one. I want you to make me one. And she didn't know I had the pattern. She didn't know any of this. And I was just like, okay, well, maybe Christmas. And she's like, no, I want one for my birthday. And I'm just like, and for a minute before it occurred to me that I had this, I was like, I might just be able to make her a small one or something. Like I can find a pattern that I can make a small one. But none of them were clicking. And then I was like, I have a big one. I have a big pattern. But am I comfortable letting this initial present that was supposed to be for one person go to another person? Because it's really hard when you're like, I'm not trying to ignore who the gift was supposed to go to.
Right.
That is not the intention here. But obviously this will be loved here, and I can always do this over again. And so the consensus is now that I'm making it for my sister-in-law. And I feel like that is natural. I feel like it ended up occurring so on point.
Kind of perfect, really.
And it's not that my nephew does not deserve this. If he wants one, I will still make him one. It was just how it all turned out. Like
he's moving into a new house right now, and I think that...
And he's turning into a teenager, so yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he's going to want...
So it's just one of those things where it's like, I didn't want to make it, hand it to him, and then it be something he doesn't even want. Like this is such a labor of love, and a project, Dad Come to Life, that is just so on point with everything that's going on right now. So to show off what has already been completed is the body. So the body of Baby Yoda is already completed. Skeleton was already done. It was formed. It has his toes. It has his hands. And he does stand, I believe, if you get him on situated right. Which I don't know why I'm really gung-ho about this, but it'd be nice to remember. I feel like he did. Yep, he does stand. So it's really cool about that. But on top of it, he comes with a little jacket that has that fake fur outlines, and I decided to do Velcro, so let's get him in that. And this is something I whipped up in 3 days. In the last 3 days, this has been my project, and it's been coming with me everywhere. And when I say everywhere, everywhere. I've been doing this at restaurants. I've been doing this in the car. I've been doing this at home. I've been doing this anywhere. And so this is the kind of like the big oversized little jacket thing that he normally wears on him, the character. And for those that recognize, this is kind of the Pattern's version of the head. And obviously he has ears as he is Yoda. This is my interpretation of that said Pattern, because obviously I could not find the same safety eyes as they used. So I had to make my own for the scale that the project was in, using buttons. I used E36000 glue to adhere what made it look like dimples and then the irises, and he does have brown eyes, so we did that and I was able to make that work. So it is on a swivel, as you can see. The project has a bunt for the neck, and then you put this on, and then obviously the head forms around that. And obviously it's not done, but as you can see where it's going and heading, it looks fantastic.
And this way his head will swivel.
Yep. And so I am going to finish up his head here very soon. I'm on the last section. It's going to be decreasing quickly. And then it's just the ears. And the ears should not take me that long. So this project will be done tonight, and I'll make sure to have photos for you guys. But the one thing I will say is that the interesting thing about these projects when you're making dolls is that the creators of the patterns have been very much getting into the idea of pigmenting the skin and the face to make it look more fleshy, meaning that instead of just crocheting a circle pink and just putting it on to make it look like there's a little, like a painted clown or doll where it was like that little circle to indicate the blush or whatever, they actually want you to use either a version of acrylic paint that may be a little bit diluted, or
an actual blush.
Or blush makeup to be able to create definition in the doll. So as the pattern indicates, I'll show you the finished work of theirs. Okay. This is how theirs ended up. And if you can see there, the inside of the ears has that little pink tinge, and so does the cheeks. The idea is that if you create that definition, it kind of creates like the effect that this is like a real, it has those small details that really captivate this creation into being its full final form of a crocheted project come to life. And I think that that's really interesting, just the way that you can add just a little bit more a little bit more, and it just creates, it finishes it.
The depth.
Yeah. So with that being said, this project is on its way to being done. Obviously the body and the jacket's done. I might have made the jacket a little big, but I think that's okay. But yep, the head is on its way. Right now I'm in the process of making the eyebrows and everything, and so I'm really excited. And when this is done, I promise I will make sure that I get enough of a 3D view on my camera roll, because obviously this gift is being handed to her tonight. And so, I don't know. Don't be afraid of your unfinished projects. Don't be afraid that you have so many whips that you're not getting them all done at the same time, because I feel like if there's anything that I've been proven by my hobby and by time, if you just give it a project's time, they end up coming back to you in a way that
is even better.
Yes. I thought this was for my nephew. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that.
And that's okay.
And again, I will give something to my nephew, a labor of love of my time, in a way that I know I can do well for him.
Yeah.
But it didn't suit him to have this then. So we're going to move on, and I didn't want this to just be stuck in my closet anymore. And then just to have my sister-in-law, hint, hint, I really want a Baby Yoda. I really want a Baby Yoda. It's like, okay, a bit on the nose, but you know. So, yeah.
Give me a little time next time.
So as we were coming here today, we went to the
Dollar Tree
and picked up some blush for the accents. So, Yeah, I hope that that might be an encouragement to anybody, because honestly, these things happen, and it's one of those things I've had to naturally come to terms with. Oh, I'm 5 rows away from being done with the head.
There you go.
So I'm going to work on that while you guys while we're talking about this.
Yeah. So I have a quote today, and it says, "Plant kindness. Sometimes the good that you do may very well come back to you in the form." Let me start again. Whoops. Plant kindness. Sometimes the good that you do may very well come back to you in the form of the miracle you need. And I think this is perfect for this. I didn't know what she was going to talk about before we had chosen this one, or I had chosen this quote before we began our filming. I didn't know what she was going to talk about, and now it kind of is perfect for this. So, plant kindness. Sometimes the good that you do may very well come back to you in the form of the miracle you need. She needed to be able to give this away to the right person, and her sister-in-law happens to be that right person, so it's going to be the miracle she needs.
Yeah, it's hard when you're just stuck not knowing what to do with something. Like, in your head, you've already had an intention.
Yeah.
So you don't want to feel like you've betrayed somebody, but when they don't even know it's even what's coming their way,
they're not really betrayed.
And here's the thing, it has nothing to do with the fact that I don't want to do something for my nephew. That I want something that is meaningful to him, and at the time this would have been, but with everything being pushed off to the side the way that it was, it would have just come at a time that was so chaotic he might not have been able to enjoy it to begin with.
Yeah.
I am grateful for the fact that things are just working out in the way that they need to be, and that it is turning out the way that it should be, and that I hope that I get the right idea for the right time for him, just as this is coming at the right time for my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
So plant kindness. Sometimes the good that you do may very well come back to you in the form of a miracle you need. The reality is that we never know when one little small bead of kindness that we send out into this world is going to blossom into something miraculous, whether it be in someone else's life or it might come back around and reach us. We never know.
Yeah.
And all it takes is us just not giving up on people.
And I don't know who said that, but it's very, very perfect.
And so it's not trying to be selfish based as much as just like recognizing that the more good that you do,
the more it comes back.
The more it comes back, and not only does it come back towards you, but you're not stuck with so much bitterness.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to live your life in a state of always being in a lack of trust. But if you give that opportunity to just make room for somebody, a door will open.
Yeah. Yes. This has been good.
It might be a shorter video this week, but we are just, it's been a really weird and compact week for us, and so we're just grateful that we were able to sit down with you guys and just touch base with you all. So we hope that this came at the right time for all of you, and that you are encouraged by our talk today. Please comment down below. Tell us if you've ever had a project that kind of went dead and then came back to life later, or
we'd love to hear it.
A project that you had it set one way in your head, but then you end up just letting it take you where you wanted to go, but you didn't really realize how it was going till the end.
Yeah, the free flow of it all was really nice.
So just comment your own stories as to what you if you can compare with us at all. So as always, we hope that you guys enjoyed this downtime, the fellowship, and that maybe you got something from it. As always, we hope that you are doing well with all your projects, and that everything is going well for you. And until next week, we hope that you stitch your way
to mental health.